Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tara's Midnight Madness. Your host for this evening will be me, Tara from Star and Bloom. Welcome back for another Not a Podcast guest. And tonight we will be talking about anything and everything. Whatever comes to my mind, because we know that that's what Midnight Madness is all about. The first thing I want to talk about tonight is I have been working really hard on a lot of different things. And I'm really excited to say that the Small World Many Homes series has a collaborator for next week. So check that out for Monday, peoples. I'm not sure how many of you are crossovers from the written work I do on Substack and how many of you tune in just for Midnight Madness. But if you are, a fan of my writing, then please tune in for next Monday where we will do Costa Rica. And I have a collaborator and I'm really excited about that. Woohoo! So, yeah, good things in the works there. And I also decided to sign up for Buy Me a Coffee. So now people can feel free if they do want to, buy me a coffee. They can click on the link and do that. So that's kind of cool. I'd rather do that than paywall, in my opinion, just because not everybody wants to buy a subscription, and sometimes people just want to give a little gift, and that is greatly and muchly appreciated. Can you tell it's Midnight Madness again or what? So there's a couple new things that I've been working on, and lately I have also been into a very scientific verse meets spirituality mood. I know a lot of my writing is reflecting that. I kind of go into weird moods and, I don't like to be boxed into one genre. Most of you know that. Like, I like to write where the heart is. I want to write out of my passion. I don't want to just write because I have to write or write stuff that, people think I should write or, really like stuff like that. That's sucky. Like, who wants to read my half-hearted pieces? No, thank you. So, yeah, I tend to be a little bit more eclectic in my works, and I enjoy it that way. You never know if you're going to get a fairy tale, a children's story, a trauma memory, or what. But you know what? I think for now, I'm kind of holding off on doing anything trauma oriented. I think I've shared a big piece of all that with you guys, and you can find it all. It's under the trauma section, but I think there comes a time where, life is really short, and I shared the things I shared because I wanted to help other people that might be, have gone through it or might be going through it, but I don't want to stay there, and I hope that everyone else doesn't want to stay in that place either. I think it's important and we need to hold space for that. So I'm not trashing it. I think it's really important to hold space for the things that people have gone through. But I also try to be a very positive and upbeat person nowadays, because I think that life is very short and I want to make the most of it. And I want everybody else to make the most of it too. We all go through seasons in our life where, we're struggling to do our healing work. And I think trauma looks very different for lots of different people. And of course, most of you know I've been through numerous different types of trauma. And, I had my space and my time for that healing. And, I think we have to make allowances for people to be there and also support them through it. But I also am moving into a different season where I want to share all different types of things. A lot of it has to do with spirituality and science. In my opinion, a lot of people think that it's either one or the other, that science cancels out spirituality and spirituality cancels out science. And in my opinion, that's not true. I'm not very good at math, and I will not lie. All my life I've struggled with basic math. It's not my favorite subject. In elementary school, it was the worst subject, and even worse when I got to high school, okay? The little bit of high school I actually did complete. I mean, I'm the girl that failed math 3 times and passed on the fourth. So I'm not a rocket scientist. Okay, math is not my forte. As I've gotten older, if there's things that I want to learn, I found it much easier. But it's still not my go to. But I will say this, I do believe that God, the creator, is a mathematician. He is the greatest mathematician of all time. And I will stand by that. So my whole point was to bring that up. I think God is a mathematician. And even though I'm not particularly good at math, I can see how a lot of things to do with spirituality and God lead back to math. No. Cough is back. Sorry, people. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I think it's a solid point. I just look at physics and God is in all of that. Even though I don't necessarily understand to the depths like somebody with a really high IQ of 144 would, I still see God in it. And I think it's phenomenal. I don't think we have to be good at math to recognize the fact that God is in literally everything and he is extremely smart. Well, duh, he created everything, so he must be. Yes, okay. But I guess that's my point. I really want to delve into that more. Not exactly mathematical equations or anything, but the fact that God is a mathematician. Don't ask me why I figure. I can't verbally express to you what I want to express. I'm going to have to figure that out in writing because there's a lot of things that go into that. Everything's so precise. Number one, precision. Creation is precise. And it's just fascinating to me how that all works out. So even though I don't like math, my brain still wants to go there. I'm probably asking for a migraine, but these are the things. Okay, my curiosity is just going there. I don't know. Don't ask me. And I'm sitting here today and I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I was pretty productive. It took me forever to figure out that buy me a coffee thing, though. I couldn't figure out how to post the link on my Substack, and I was getting so annoyed. That took me way longer than it should have. You know you're getting old when your understanding of programming is not the way it used to be. That's annoying. I need to hurry up and work on that laptop because I'm going to lose my mind trying to do all this stuff on my phone. So basically, yeah. I don't know. I've just been in a very mystical, science-y place lately. And of course, I'm still doing my other types of writing as well. But, I have been putting out quite a few pieces. And I realized somebody pointed out the fact that I really am passionate about taking difficult to understand material and bringing it down, not dumbifying it. I wouldn't classify this as dumbifying it, but bringing it down a notch so that everyone can enjoy and understand it. I'm very passionate about that because I do read a lot of heavy topics, okay? I guess you'd call them heavy. I like a lot of scientific type of papers and also religious texts, and I read a lot of sciencey, complicated stuff. And maybe you wouldn't know it by how I talk, but I really do enjoy that stuff. But I also enjoy sharing it with everyone else that might not be interested in reading that in a dry way. So, a dry way. I like to make it entertaining and more palatable and more interesting and get people thinking. I really enjoy doing that type of stuff. So I'm kind of finding my footing there right now. And to me, it's awesome. It's great. I enjoy reading ancient writings. That I love. Give me an ancient text and I'm like all over it like a dirty shirt. I can literally spend all day, probably for the next 4 months, playing with this text. I love it. Like, I mean, you guys have to remember, I spent 9 years examining ancient texts and the Dead Sea Scrolls and everything else, and I still haven't come to an end of it. I mean, you can read it and reread it and read it and reread it and find something new every stinking time. And the same goes for, biblical texts as well. I'm not a huge fan of the 66 canons by itself, but once you get it together with some of those extra, what they called extra biblical texts, then it starts to make a lot more sense. Then the pieces of the puzzle start to come together. Then for people that are very logical, it starts to pull everything together. And by writing the things that I'm writing, I'm hoping to reach more people because, like I've said before, I'm not religious. I'm no longer religious. I don't affiliate with any religion. And no, I am not trying to start a new one. Some people have thought that, and commented things like that on some of my posts. And I'm like, dude, no, I am not out to start a new religion or gain a cultish following. That is not my goal. Like, seriously, you guys, like, not into that. I'm not going to be the next leaguer. I'm not going to be the next cult leaguer. No, cult leader on the planet. Like, I just want people to start, like, realizing that, you know, there is a God and that there is a higher power that loves us and is love, and that we can set aside our differences and be unified. We do not have to be separated by all of our different belief systems, and that they are more linked than what we'd like to think. And I love exploring those concepts. To me, I think it's incredible. It's such a blessing to be able to do all of this. Like, I mean, number one, I love researching. People might think I'm sick, okay? I think people that like doing mathematical equations all day long are sick, okay? But I mean, people might think I'm sick just because I love to research. I love to read. I love to research. I love all kinds of research, whether it's reading, watching videos, whatever it is. I just give me research and I love it. I wish there was a job that I could get where I could simply research. I'd be like, sweet. I'm a research queen. I love researching. I mean, I'm sure there is jobs out there, but none that are easy to get and none without like a 7-year diploma program probably. So anyways, yes. I can't help it. And people think that it makes, well, not people, my kids like to think it makes me, I like to lecture, and I really do. I swear, I probably should have been a college professor, because I do enjoy it. I enjoy talking about things that I enjoy. It's exciting. I mean, I'm a very passionate person, and that's probably my autism, going on and on about things that I really love, and everybody else is like, shut up, sit down, we don't want to hear it, but I can't help it. It's so exciting. And so I love Midnight Madness because I can go on and on about the things that are really awesome to me. Awesome to me. And if you guys want me to shut up, you just have to turn me off. So that works for you too, I guess. You know? I had some really interesting conversations with my kids in the last couple of days, and things are actually really awesome and it's really exciting. I'm not going to lie. I just keep repeating myself. And over and over and over again. Oh, it was so weird. My house is backed up onto an alley and I heard some like weird noises and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a car. That doesn't sound like a bike, but it was people going past on some sort of like contraption, but it's too dark to tell what it is. So I was like getting creeped out for a minute there, which is really hilarious because, it's dark as heck tonight. None of the street lights are on back there. I'm like, where are the lights? Turn on the lights. But then again, you ever think about it? And if the lights were actually on and something creepy was coming towards you, do you really want to see it? Do you? Or would you rather just not? I don't know. That's a hard topic. I really don't know. Um, okay, chaos gremlin distractibility ADD strikes again. I'm off on a tangent, per usual, because some scary noise. At least this time it isn't my dog. That was embarrassing. All right. Yes, I like to record these outside because I can sit out on my back deck and just relax and have a smoke and drink my coffee. And I don't smoke inside my house, so that would be why. Hmm. Because smoking in your house is pretty gross. It makes it stink and it turns the walls yellow. No thanks. And it's also not good for everybody else that doesn't smoke. I mean, that's just rude. Why would you do that? Unless you live by yourself and you're the only one there and you don't care if your walls turn yellow. I guess I shouldn't judge. I'm not judging. No judgment. Everybody's free to do what they please. I just don't want to do that. So there. Ha ha ha. So yeah, I've got quite a few projects on the go right now. I mean, the timestamp girls, me and Ophelia are still doing, and um, we're. I'm also doing the journeys thingy, and I'm also doing the small world, many homes series, and I'm also doing my sciencey things. I also did this really cool like train story where people are tagging each other to write one big story. That's cool. I just did the very first one ever. I was so nervous. I didn't think I could do it because I am so like particular. I just write when I want what I want. And I didn't know if I could actually like do this thing. And I was so worried and nervous about it for like 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I pretty much wrote my segment in like 5-10 minutes. No word of a lie. It was just done. I was like, oh, this isn't so hard. So that was really exciting. I was all stressed out for no reason. I love to challenge myself, guys. Like, that's the thing about me. When it comes to my writing, I love to challenge myself. Also, when it comes to life, that's why I picked Mandarin to learn how to speak it and how to write it. I mean, I'm having more success with the speaking and understanding than I am the writing. I'm not going to lie. The writing handsy is completely insane and I suck. It's like when you're first learning how to write the alphabet. Oh man, that is me and the handsy. It is not easy, guys. Like, I don't know, honestly, if I'll ever be able to do it properly, but I'm not going to give up. And that's my whole point. I love to challenge myself. I'm always liking to push myself that extra mile. That's what I was like when I was an athlete. I freaking loved running because you could always best your own time. You know, I didn't compete to compete against other people. I was always competing to best myself. And in doing so, I mean, I was fast, especially for a short chick. That's the one thing I could never figure out. How I could run so fast and my legs were so small. It was like Speedy Gonzalez. Like, now if I tried to run, I'd probably die. But I mean, back then in the day, man, I loved running. It was like the bomb. And I remember that feeling of flying like it was yesterday. I so miss it. Speaking of which, I started on the mostly carnivore diet today with my mom because one of my kids, I'm not, no word of a lie, went on that crap. And 3 weeks later, he lost a ton. I mean, a ton, inches in 3 weeks. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I mean, it's like I've tried literally everything else to lose weight. What do I have to lose? I'm not fat. I'm not sick because I'm fat. I'm fat because I got sick and that's just what happened to me. So, I mean, it won't take away my illness or anything, but I mean, at least I'll look better. That would be great. That would be awesome. So I'm trying it and seeing what happens to me. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of like updates. And I mean, at this point, anyways, this is the first day. So, I mean, maybe at the end of it all, I'll post some before and afters, but I'm not doing that. I don't know. Like, it's just a thing I'm trying. I mean, I've literally tried so many other things, so I have no problems trying. I'm like always open. And eventually, I do want to go to parts of the world where being fat is not exactly socially acceptable. So if I want to do all these things, I need to at least not be fat. So I'd love to try to lose the weight, however that may look. I'm not, but see, the thing with me is I don't eat a lot. So that's not my problem. So I don't know if it'll work or not. We'll just have to wait and see. If it could, maybe it's a hormonal thing and maybe it'll bounce back my hormones. Whatever. I am definitely going to keep a private notebook though and see how I feel a week in, like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to commit to doing that on a daily basis. How do I feel today? But I definitely want to see how it affects me physically and mentally and emotionally. My mom said she's already noticed a decrease in her appetite. Mine was already pretty like low to begin with, so I haven't seen too much there, and it's only been a day. But my mom, she is an eater. And no, she's not bigger than me. She's actually smaller than me, but she loves to eat a lot. And she's saying she feels full and she feels better. So that's exciting for her. I mean, because she's the type of person that gets super hangry if she doesn't eat. If there's nothing to eat, she'll lose her mind. Like, I can fast for days and days and days on end, and it will be fine. But she doesn't even like to fast for a meal. I mean, I was really proud of her when she did like a 4-day fast. I mean, but by the end of it, she was done. She's like, no. So maybe doing this is going to be really helpful for her. And I'm excited to see what difference there is. Like, that's cool, guys. Not that I'm promoting anything. I am of the firm belief as a trained master herbalist that everybody is unique and everybody requires a different type of, eating, meal plan, calorie intake. And I am a firm believer in that after having studied many different types of people and what works best for them. I think it's very individual, and that's why there is no one size all cures everything for everybody that I've found so far. I've never tried the carnivore, so I'm going to try it, but I'm allowing, it's like mostly carnivore. It's like I'm allowing fruit, not vegetables, but fruit. And some people do that with great success. I'm going to keep the fruit in. If I'm not noticing any difference, I'll take the fruit out. But I mean, I'm going to keep it with the fruit for now and see. Not all fruit either. There's just a specific type of fruit. So it's like called mostly carnivore or something. They have a word for it. So that's where I'm at with that. And like I said, if after 3 weeks I'm not noticing a change, then I'll start pulling that. I mean, that's okay for me, like to pull the fruit. It's not a big deal, but because I've been on such a fruit kick lately, I figured I'd start small and eliminate everything but the fruit. So sugar, all that's gone. Just, I'm allowing honey because it is an animal-based product. And some people do and some people don't. And again, if I'm not noticing results, then I'll pull those things that I'm adding. Like honey is okay. And I'm keeping cheese in too, because again, some people do use the dairy on the mostly carnivore. So I'm keeping the cheese and the honey. Oh, and heavy cream. That's it. So if I don't notice anything by week 3, or maybe even by week 2, I'm going to pull out the heavy cream, the cheese, and the fruit. We'll just whip them all out. Whip them all out. But at least this gives me a basis of just like starting off doing this and seeing how I feel. I'm also adding some electrolytes in because it says to do that, and I'm going to do that. So we'll see. I didn't do it today, but I've got some stuff. So I'm going to try that. And it helps with like your body's detox or whatever, apparently, from everything else, which would be great. Because who wants to feel like garbage with low energy? Basically just replenishing things like your magnesium and potassium and ray. So there's some really interesting things I'm up to these days. I mean, nothing day to day. I mean, mostly just busting my butt, writing out pieces. I mean, I'm writing every day, but I'm not posting everything I write every day. I'm scheduling them for later dates. 'Cause like I said before, and I've talked about this before, my mind is constantly going. If I'm not writing, I go insane. I need to be doing something. And before I used to like channel all the energy physically. Right now, it's not possible for me to do that. So I'm channeling it all into my writing. And then because people are getting annoyed by getting too many emails, I'm trying to spread them out more and just say, okay, well, I'm not going to post this too many in one day. So I'm just going to like save it for later on. And then it also helps on a day where I'm not feeling good and I really can't write much. So, I mean, I'm taking full advantage of that schedule your post button. I like it. I think that's really awesome. Because there are days where I'm down and I'm not feeling too good. So, yeah. I haven't been doing my notes as much. I think I'm going to do that more. I'm going to get back into posting little notes. I had a couple of off days where I was like, I don't feel like it. And I just let the scheduled post take over and do their thing because I just wasn't feeling like peopling. I wasn't feeling like peopling. Oh my goodness. And then I took a day to read a bunch of people's work and, you know, try and do that. And yeah, you guys, like, I've just been keeping myself really busy that way, you know. Um, Basically, I'm trying a bunch of different things at once. But is that surprising, really? Probably not, because, like, that's just my style. Oh, and I found this really cool YouTube video to learn Mandarin in your sleep. And it's really good because the video is really slow pronunciation. And I find that as I'm drifting off, I mean, I don't know how effective it is while you're sleeping, but while I'm drifting off and while I wake up, I sit there and I listen to it. And it's really actually quite helpful. I was shocked. So maybe not while I'm sleeping, but while I am laying there in bed for whatever, and I'm getting a little bit of that, that's really helpful to me. And plus, I enjoy it. You know, I really do think Mandarin is a beautiful language. It's so nice sounding, really beautiful. It reminds me, it's almost, I want to say musical, but it's not musical, but it's pleasant to the ears like music. And I love that. And it was so funny because I have a playlist of like all my favorite Mandarin songs. And my mom was like, stop playing it in the car while I'm driving long distances. And I'm laughing because she's like, you're putting me to sleep. She's like, that's really relaxing. And I think that's why I love it so much because it really is relaxing. And it makes me zen. It's almost like it puts me into this meditative, like, state of being. I enjoy it that much. Like, it's wicked. Like, I just get into this relaxed, calm, headspace. And I'm just like, whoa. And it was so weird because my husband just came home for his, 3-day stint. And he was like, you're unusually quiet. And I was thinking about it. He's like, you have to actually answer when people are talking to you. And I was like, trying to explain to him, because there's been such a huge shift, like, that way, like, it's not that I'm purposely ignoring anyone, but I need time to, like, think over what you're saying before I just blurt it out. Because I find I get into a lot of trouble when I'm having these face-to-face conversations with people and I'm just blurting out because they want me to answer right away, right? And so I was trying to explain to him in the best way I could that no, literally, I'm not ignoring you, dude. I'm just trying to make sure that my response is, not going to create conflict. And I'm also just more into a listening than a speaking phase in my everyday life. Like for Midnight Madness, that's different, right? But for like my everyday life, I've gotten more like, I don't know, observy. I don't know, there's no word. Observy. I've got more observy, you know? So that's not a bad thing. I was actually kind of impressed because I didn't realize that it was actually manifesting outwardly yet. And it really has. I was like, holy, for him to notice that, that's a big change. It was half a complaint though, because he thought I was ignoring him. And I'm like, oh, well, no. I was thinking about how to answer that without creating a conflict, you know? I can't even remember what it was about either. I was really in my Zen mode. And like I said, I really find that helpful. Honestly, the Buddhist and Zen teachings have really made a difference to me, especially during high stress situations. I'm not saying I don't get stressed, but the more I practice this, the less I get like all worked up and sick for days and days and days. I mean, it used to take such a huge physical toll out of me. I might be down and need a nap or something, but when I wake up, I feel much better, you know? So physically, I'm learning how to not poison myself with the external stresses of things that are happening that are not within my control, simply by accepting things as they are and not trying to or not hoping that they'll be different. I'm feeling the feels and letting it go. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to do that. But once you do figure it out, it's epic. It's honestly life changing. And I couldn't recommend it more, especially if you're like me and your life is just so chaotic and other people are doing crazy shit that is affecting you. Because that's a lot of what was happening to me. And I'm just like, okay. And also like learning how to have boundaries and just sticking with them despite what other people's opinions are. Because guess what? Like I've said before, opinions are like assholes and everybody's got one. Okay. People have a lot of opinions on how you parent, how you conduct yourself, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And I think you just have to stand your ground. And I'm learning to do that and say, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but that's not good for me. And I'm learning to do that more and more. And there's people in my life that will often tell me to dial it down a notch or whatever because I'm a very, I don't know, loud person when I do engage, like when I am engaging. And they're like, oh, you need to dial it down. And it's like, no, I'm not going to dial it down to make myself more palatable. The people that like me and want to be around me will just accept me for how I am. And that's part of my personality. I am a bubbly, happy person that is, going to enjoy life. Now, as I said, there are times where I tend to be more quieter, but not because I'm dialing down, but because I'm really being more meditative. So that might sound kind of contradictory, but I am a little bit of a contradiction. My mom always, growing up, called me her contradictory child because it was I'm just a little bit of everything. I'm a tomboy, but I'm a girly tomboy. Is there such a thing? No, but I made it be a thing. I'm the type of girl that likes to dress up in pretty dresses and play in the mud. And I've been like that since I was a kid. So in my personality type, I guess you'll find that there's bits and pieces that don't make sense. And that's the whole thing that makes me the chaos gremlin because you just don't know. My husband once told me, being married to me, life is always interesting because he never knows what he's going to get. And he likes that because I'm not a boring person, I guess. And it's not that I'm being fake or not genuine, but I'm genuinely shifting like the sea, like waves of the ocean. And it's interesting and it's not too much it's not too much where it's a bad thing, I guess. He just enjoys it. He enjoys that constant, you know, I don't know, rising and falling. Not, that sounds terrible. That sounds like rising to optimism, falling to pessimism. No, it's not like that. But just the difference in how I am on any given day. It changes and it flows and it's natural. It's not like, oh, I'm being fake one moment and real the next. It's all part of who I am. It's all genuine. It's just I'm I'm basically a different person with my mood, depending on my mood. Oh, brother, this is not getting any better. I can't explain it. You guys figure it out. You know, like I'm a different person every second. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't change personalities and I don't change names, guys. Like, I just have many components to my personality. Sometimes I'm very bubbly, very vivacious, very happy. And some days I'm just zen. And sometimes that does change from hour to minute, like, or minute to hour because, it just depends. But it's all genuinely who I am. I just don't, I think if I was one type of way, I'd just be bored with my own self, and I was just naturally born to be different, I guess. I don't know. Naturally born to be different. That sounds terrible. I'm not being conceited. I'm not like different than everybody, but I mean, I'm just, I don't follow the rules in any aspect of life. Like, obviously, I was like a rebel of some kind, I guess. Like, most people have their personality type and that's just who they are. But for me, I'm just, I'm an I'm an adaptogen. How do you say that word? Adaptogen or adaptogen? I'm just like that. I can just go with the flow, whatever. More so now, too. Sometimes I just like zone out and meditate. Like, it's just weird. It's a really nice, and it's more like, I'm not really in a deep, I'm in a trance almost. I'm not seeing anything like some people do with meditation though. I'm not getting any great words of wisdom. I'm just relaxed. I'm learning how to do that, relax into it. And it's freaking awesome. Because for years I didn't think I was capable. And now all of a sudden I'm finding ways and I'm like, yes. So maybe eventually I'll get to those heightened states where I'm actually getting some sort of, feedback back from it. But right now I'm just enjoying the calm, honestly, that mental calmness place where you don't really want to leave because you just want to stay in that lane. It's so good. It's so good, you guys. Honestly, like I didn't think I'd ever get to that place because my brain is so noisy, right? That's why I said I write so much to get it all down. But for somebody like me whose brain is constantly going, constantly thinking, constantly coming up with new ideas, it's been really helpful to meditate on it. It's fantastic. Fantastic. I'm starting to get that old lady voice I noticed. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I was like listening back and I'm like, oh no, it's got that creak to it. I need to do some vocals or something. Probably the smoking's not helping either. I need to quit. That if I can do well on this carnivore diet, I'm gonna give it a quit. I'm gonna quit smoking. But then the midnight madness is gonna turn into some crazy ass shit because I'm gonna be climbing the walls. Oh, no thanks. I don't know if I can give people any tip of advice. If you're struggling with like a huge amount of stress and your life is really off kilter, definitely look at meditating. Definitely look at things that help you that way. Because you know what? I used to think I couldn't do it. And, the more I explored the Zen teachings and the stories, especially the stories, it just made a real difference to me. Learning that, when you can't control something and just accepting it, that was hugely life-changing for me. I think sometimes we hear things in one way, but it's not going to sink in until we hear it the right way, the way we need to have it explained. And that's how it was for me. It's not like I've never been told some of this information before, but it was being presented in a way I couldn't hear, whereas I eventually found it on my own in a way I could hear. And I think that's really important. It's awesome. Like, it's life changing. And I guess that's why I keep talking about it so much, because it's really helped me in so many ways. I think a lot of our problems is that we just lack tools, and sometimes it's not from a lack of searching. We just can't find that one way that will soak in. And that's what it's been for me, because I'm always on the hunt for new tools, man. I mean, nobody knows their own faults like me. I know all my faults, and I try to work on them all. But sometimes it's hard because you lack tools and people will give you some glib answer and it's like, love yourself. Well, how the fuck do I do that? Honestly. Seriously. I mean, maybe some people naturally just are born knowing. Maybe they were given tools somewhere along the way that they understand. But I mean, I'm gradually starting to understand it now. But I need the individual steps. And, how that looks for everybody is going to be different. I think the less I stress, the more I'm learning to love myself. Like that was really interconnected, or blame myself for the actions of others, because free will is a thing. You can do all the right things as a parent and your kid's still going to do what it wants at the end of the day. So sometimes it isn't a matter of were you good enough? And that was a real battle for me to accept the fact that I did give it my 110%. No parent on this planet is perfect. But when you actually give it your 110% and they still do fucked up shit, then that's not on you. And I took all that shit very personally. And it's because society does like to lay it at the feet of parents too. But now I'm at the point where I've examined all my actions. I know that I gave it actually over 10% over my best. So that's why I say I gave it my 110% best. And then you have to account for free will. And that's it. And that's another thing that I'm doing now. And I'm realizing. And also, I don't have the Messiah complex I used to have. I used to think it was my mission to save everybody. Well, it's not. That's how you drown yourself, guys. You can't save anybody. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So say what you have to say and then just keep going. And either they'll catch up or not. But you cannot save people from their own selves. The only person you're in control of on this entire planet is you. And I think that we forget that sometimes. We think we have the power to save somebody, but really, have you guys ever tried to save a drowning person? I have. I have rescued drowning people, and they will try to drown you. Not because they want to kill you, but because the instinct is to use you so they can live. And so they will try to push you under and push themselves above. And they're panicking, and so they don't even know what they're doing. And the same goes for life. You cannot save a drowning man that way in life. You can, literally. But I mean, you have to know how to do it. But I mean, I'm talking about when you're trying to help people in life that are going through something. What you can do is be there. You can be there. You can offer your advice. But no matter what, if you have to walk away because it gets too toxic, that's okay. I mean, and give yourself that permission. And that's the reality. You can only do so much. You're not going to save them unless they want to do the work. If they're not willing to do the work, then you can't. And that's just it. There's nothing you guys can do. And that's something that I was not able to understand. And I took it very personally. I felt like I had failed. And not just with kids. I mean, I'm talking just people, friends, relatives, spouses, all that stuff. I took it very personally and I thought I was a failure. But it's really not a reflection of you. It is a Messiah complex, and I realize that now. It's not a very flattering terminology, that's for sure. But it's true. I mean, when we think we can save others. And also, we don't get to control the actions of other people. So many people spend all their time worrying about if their spouse is going to cheat on them. And at my age now, looking back, I think that is the dumbest waste of time ever. Because no matter how paranoid you are, or how much you want to check, or how much you try to stay on top of it, the more that you do all that shit, the more you're going to drive your spouse away from you. And the chances are, the more that you'll encourage them to want to. I mean, you have to have a certain level of trust in your relationships. And I keep saying that, but it's true. Like, jealousy is the main destroyer of relationships nowadays. You have to have trust. If your partner's going to cheat on you, there is nothing you can do to stop it. All you can do is hope that you'll find out. And in my experiences, eventually you will find out. And I mean, other than that, you're not going to stop it. So why live in that constant of the state of stress? And that's to me, like, it's not healthy. If you have to be that stressed out with someone, then you shouldn't be with them, in my opinion. That's just like, that's savage for them, and it's savage for you. And I think that goes for all relationships. There has to be some sort of trust levels there. And I think all too often in life, we're trying to control things that we have no control over, whether it be our kids, whether it be our relationships, whether it be life in general. I mean, there are things that we can do to change our lives. And if you're in a position and you can do something to change, then change it. But if you're not, then learning to accept what is absolutely life changing. And that's why I keep talking about it, because I'm seeing the difference, just in my happy mood. Just in my happy mood. Yes, that's very dumbing it down, but that's what I can manage tonight. All right, I am dumbing it down, but like, whatever. My brain is at half capacity, not full capacity today. It is a little burnt out from all this technical stuff I did. I finished that piece on Costa Rica, and it was very intense. I had to do a ton of research on it. Those pieces are not easy, and committing to doing one once a week. I mean, I maybe should have looked at doing it like one every 2 weeks or one a month, but I don't like to do anything half-assed, so I went for the once a week. And I'm going to continue to do it once a week for now. If I have to, I don't mind setting back the delivery date. Because if it gets too much, I'm not going to push myself. But I am kind of brain melted over that. That was a lot. So, finishing it up, wrapping it up, and all that good stuff. Um, and the presentation, and arguing with AI over the images. That's always fun, because, they was giving me some really dumb images with this piece, and I was getting really annoyed. So there was that too. But yeah, learning to let go of things, learning that we're not always in control, learning that the only person on this planet you can control is your own self is probably one of the most important lessons you can learn. And maybe for some people, that's just repetitive. I mean, you guys might all have that down. For me, that was a really big thing, especially when it came to parenting. Especially when it came to parenting. I mean, I know that I had to let my kids go, when they turned adults. But that didn't stop the inner turmoil, if that makes sense. I would bite my tongue, but I'd still be stressed out on the inside. And that wasn't good for me either. It was good for them, but it wasn't good for me. So I had to learn how to deal with all that stress over things that I deemed stressful, and I wasn't getting anywhere. Now I'm finally learning how to deal with that stress and to let it go on the inner person that I am. On the inner person I am. Oh my goodness. Totally insane language here. But like I said, I'm a much better writer than I am speaker. So there you have it, folks. Especially winging it. I've said 1,000 times, if I write a polished script, this would be so much different. But you're getting the raw, unfiltered, exhausted, crazy gremlin me. I mean, what can I say? And I'm perfectly happy to share that with you, because I think it's what we should be doing. We should be authentically ourselves. I don't know why, but lately I have been a little extra tired. Usually I'm up and raring to go at this time of night. I have been a little tired lately. Maybe my minerals are down. That could be it too. So, yeah, or maybe I'm just getting old. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, oh my God. I was going through some of my photos, and I am the type of person that never knows I'm good looking until after the fact. Like, this is gonna sound hilarious, but when I was a kid, I never thought I was that pretty. I always thought I was ugly. And looking back at pictures now, I'm like, holy crap, I was so cute. Why would I think I was ugly? And I did. And then in my 20s and 30s, I used to think I wasn't that attractive. But looking back, I was hot. I was like, holy crap, I had no self-esteem. I'm like, where the hell did that girl go? Like, why couldn't I have enjoyed it? Hello? No. I actually posted a foxy picture of me on Stubstack. I was like, wow, this is me 10 years ago. I'm foxy. You know? And I'm not like that. I usually don't do stuff like that, but I mean, come on. I was like, this is what happens when you realize, like, after the fact, you think you're hot. Like, you guys love yourself where you're at. Don't be me. Like, hello. Like, after the fact all the time. Like, I can't see it at the time. I mean, now I'm old. Like, there's no questions about it. I'm like 44. It's not, that hot. But back in the day, man, I was a little liquor. I had no idea. I didn't think it was that cute. Oh, I really was. And I'm not shy to admit it. I was like, wow, wish I could have enjoyed it. But you know what? It's probably better I didn't. Nobody needs to be that conceited. No, that sounds terrible. Like, what the hell? See, this isn't even coming out right. I sound so conceited right now, but whatever. It is what it is, you guys. Like, know from the depths of my heart, I'm just excited because looking back, I realize I really was kind of pretty, and that's a nice feeling. But then it also sucks because it's like I didn't get to enjoy it. I didn't think I was, but whatever. Looks are so skin deep. The older you get, the less looky you look, the less good looking you are. Over time, I mean, some people age more gracefully than others. I don't know how I'm aging. I mean, compared to what I used to look like, I mean, I don't know. But then again, compared to, I don't know, I don't want to compare. But just, I mean, I guess it's okay. I mean, I'm not, I don't know. It sounds like all I care about is looks, and that's not true. My whole point of the fact is to say, is beauty fades. It's only skin deep. It doesn't last forever. Enjoy it while you have it, and remember, beauty is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What's inside of you will either make you shine or make you commit crime. No, I'm just kidding. That too. It will make you commit crime if you're a bastard on the inside. You know, you can, I mean, society has its own versions of what's beautiful. I don't think I've ever met anyone I consider truly ugly. I think that everybody has some redeeming feature or some redeeming qualities. The only person I've ever really considered ugly was me, you know? And then looking back, I wasn't. So that was just body dysmorphia. Dysmorphia. I did. I was very, but my dysmorphia wasn't about gender. It was just about what I actually look like. Because when I looked at myself, I didn't see anything attractive. So that it's just bizarre. Dysmorphia, body dysmorphia is weird. That's a whole other different topic. We could go down that rabbit hole. I mean, I've experienced some strange things where, you know, people will say that I don't have this massive nose, but all I see on my face is my nose. It's so bizarre. Like, I do have some weird dysmorphia, and that's probably, it comes from my days where I was very anorexic. And even now, like I said, I struggle to eat because that's still like, I still struggle sometimes to eat. And yet I'm huge. I don't get it. People eat so much more than me and they're so much skinnier than me. And like if I eat, but I think it has to do with my metabolism and the anorexia because you can destroy your absolute metabolism, which is why I'm hoping to reset it with this carnivore-ish thing I'm doing. Carnivore-ish thing. What the fuck? Can you say I can talk tonight? No. I'm going off about personal appearance. I don't know. I'm really not that vain. It's just something that was on my heart today because I think that a lot of us do struggle and we don't always see ourselves for who we really are. Maybe sometimes we get down on ourselves and think we're uglier than we are. And I guess that's why I really wanted to bring it up, but it came out a whole different way. I don't know. I think that ugly is subjective, you know? I mean, I've seen people that other people consider ugly and make fun of, and I don't find them ugly because they have the most beautiful soul. And when I listen to them talk or I hear what they say, they look beautiful to me. And I think that's really amazing. And what one country's set of beauty standards is versus another country's set of beauty standards, they're all different. Like, and then we have this global set of beauty standards too. It's bizarre. I don't know what makes somebody beautiful and what makes them ugly. It's so subjective. And that was my point. I think that we shouldn't call people ugly and that we shouldn't make fun of people. We don't know the situation that they're in. We don't know what brought them to that point. We don't know the pain or the struggle or the suffering that they got to. And also, people can't help the body that they're born into. And that's the next major big thing. I mean, you can't control that. And not everybody can go out and afford plastic surgery to suit what your definition of beauty is. And I've talked about that before. That's just stupid. So, yeah, I think that we should be nicer to each other on many levels, including to do with politics. Everything. It's an all around thing. We should be nicer to each other. But, anyways, it has now been 56 minutes of me going on and on. So, we're going to wrap things up because I'm sure you guys are kind of done hearing me repeat myself one evening. And I will see you again on another podcast cast. And if any of you have found anything enjoyable over your time with me on Tara's Midnight Madness, please feel free to hit the buy me a coffee link and buy me a coffee. We do have a Tim Hortons here where I live, so small town got their Timmies. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening, and it was good to be with you, and we'll see you again when, I don't know when, but that's the point of the Not a Podcast cast. Love you all.